Hello and welcome back to another game of StarLadder Star Series Season 8 Day 2, Game 3, and this is of the 5 matches that are here today. If you would have asked me beforehand, what game, if you can only watch what game, which one would you watch, that would be this one. Because Power Rangers always delivers. Poseidon, also a team that is very strong, and I hope that they're gonna clash like hell. But there's one big scary part of it, because normally or sometimes when you put two aggressive teams together, they both turn passive because they're expecting aggression from the other. Let's hope that's not going to happen. Of course, I'm not by myself today. I am actually joined by General Advance, or G Advance, or Advance. Welcome back.
Reserve time.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. I want to see how Power Rangers do, because despite being a team that has they've beaten Na'vi, they've beaten Alliance, they've beaten all the really good teams. They are not a reliable team by any stretch of the imagination. They are aggressive, though.
They are very aggressive. They are on land as well, which is, how they're able to beat Na'vi on Tech Labs, for example. But they are, as you said, they're flaky. And they do, overall, they do better against Eastern teams, like Eastern Europe teams, compared to against more Western Europe teams. So we'll see how they do, as they are up against an Eastern Europe team. Power Rangers... we actually, I believe, it was IC Cup that we used to call the CIS Slayer, so I guess that's not really them anymore. But still a CIS Slayer team, so we'll see. We have got some support ban out as the form of the Lich with the Puckner removed there, as well as the Timbersaw and the other Titan. And for the second time today, it is a Venomancer picked up first, and a Crystal Main picked up in the second pick phase, even though it's a bit earlier than the other one, but still on the same turn.
Yeah, both teams obviously still going for the supports that are really generally regarded as the most powerful ones, and also the two easiest to play out of the most powerful ones. VIII is a hero who does require basically a specialized player. You need a specialized support VIII player on your team to actually pick up the hero, because plenty of times I've seen teams pick up VIII and not had enough practice with the hero and screw themselves over. And Power Rangers actually going to go for one of the premier offlaners at the moment, the Clockwork. I like this pickup. This is nice.
I do. They are actually also a team that uses it as support, though, so we can't really tell too much from that Clockwork. But it is a hero that can make big plays. So who knows, maybe that's what they're going to do with it.
And it opens up their draft really well, because like you said, they're one of the few teams to still use it as a support. It's always been a hero you could use as a support. I really like this sort of more open style of draft, because you can go very sacrificial with the CM. You can basically put her there just to protect a carry hero. You can put her in the jungle to farm up a bit more. You can put the Clockwork as a support. You can go aggressive tri-lane with these two with somebody else. Possibly not now, because Poseidon have picked up the Bristleback.
Hey, did you notice that the Bristleback in this picture has actually... he's got the same stone, but the stone here is grey, while in-game it is green?
Yeah, I think that was a cosmetic one in the last game. Oh. Yeah, this is like a slightly different one. Bristleback's a big fan of stones, though. That's another reason why I love him, because all the other heroes have exotic weapons and stuff. We have Crystal Mage, she's an ice mage. Clockwork has missiles and stuff. Bristleback has a rock on a bit of rope. It's brilliant.
So you're also a fan of Tiny?
Tiny's my favorite hero, because he doesn't even need a weapon. He just slams people.
He punches people.
The king of slams.
We don't actually have another hero that fights with... Oh, actually we do. I was going to say fight with his fists, but I guess the Treant Protector actually does that.
And Treant Protector hits like a truck as well early. Treant has stupid base damage. There's almost no reason for it as well, because he's never in a situation which he's actually going to use his base damage, so I don't know.
Well, perhaps we're going to see him today. Actually, I'm starting to think of Bristleback in the same team as a Treant Protector. That's going to be annoying. But so far, we've got ourselves, Bristleback Venomancer combination. Their synergy is amazing because, of course, of the slows. There's no getting away from them. There's just not.
No, we saw last game both teams using a ton of slows. We're going to see it again this game, apparently. At least Power Rangers have some stuns this time, though. We're going to see some stuns coming out from one of the teams, which is nice. Makes things a bit more finessed, I feel, rather than just so sort of brutal, where both teams just sort of clash and nobody dies immediately. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and everybody just thinking they can run against the other and hoping that the other one runs away so they can kill him, but nobody actually... Yeah, it was just awkward. I just like more stuns. We have got some stuns banned out, though, with the StarLadder as well as the Necrolite removed. Two heroes that would indeed do very well against that Bristleback. One with, of course, the amplified damage and the other one just holding in place. And if you have the Necrolite, you can also go for a very sustainable build and just continuously get that... Death Pulse out there, which is something that Poseidon... I actually think Necrolite could have been picked up by Poseidon still. They used it yesterday, but it didn't really work out. That was a game that they actually lost, I believe. But
yeah, I did see that game, and really, they were winning most of the game, but things just sort of fell apart. They never really executed once they'd gotten themselves an advantage. Power Rangers here actually going for a Clinks. What do you think about this one? I'm not so sure whether I'm a fan of this versus a Bristleback.
I guess it's... I mean, it could fit if they run an aggressive trail lane and they put the Klinks on the safe lane and they have the Clockwork either mid or with the aggressive trail lane. It could work out, but I'm thinking it's locking them down in a position that, like we just said, after the first two pick, they've opened up their draft. They can do anything they want to with those two heroes. And then they pick up a Klinks, basically locking them in place because Klinks just needs to sit on the lane and farm until he has his Orchid for a while. And I'm not sure if... Like, why not pick him up last? Because I'm not expecting him to get banned out at all, so...
Exactly, I'm thinking the same thing. Why not pick him up last? Because Poseidon, I mean, we've seen Clinks picked up a bit more. He's been recently played mostly by Eternal Envy on the side of speed gaming. They're the ones to really pioneer that at the moment. He got a fair amount of a buff in the last patch. He is strong. He's been seeing some play, but he's not bannable. He's not bannable in pretty much any situation, really. He's just so situational. He's very, very unusual to run. And I'm not sure he's going to have a good laning stage now. With the way Poseidon might run things here, they might just try and put really strong, hard to deal with laners in each lane. They've already got a Bristleback and a Viper now. Clinks might have a hard time.
Unless there's not going to be any stuns.
Yeah, there's always that. I'm thinking they're going to try and deal with him in the laning stage, though. Really shut him down during that early stage. And I like the Naga Siren, though. That's probably going to be an aggressive tri-lane now, with the Clockwork, Crystal Maiden, Naga, possibly?
Yeah, it could be. I'm actually thinking perhaps they want to put Klinks mid. But aggressive tri-lane, Clockwork could be mid also, with Klinks on a safe lane and still something else picked up there together with the Crystal Maiden and the Naga Siren. That would be the most standard proceedings, I think. Just Clockwork mid, even though he'll have a tough time up against that Viper. But
yeah, he'll really not like to go up against the Viper, but Clockwork's also one of those heroes who can... You'd like to have items on him, because items on him means he can completely change the tempo of the game, he'd just destroy everything. But even without items, he still does the same job. He's still a fantastic initiator, he still does a ton of damage with Battery Assault, and he gives you a little bit of global vision with the flare as well. So I like the roundedness of Power Rangers lineup right now. It's a little bit odd picking up the Klinks early, but not so bad.
Yeah, Poseidon, they pick up their stun, an Alchemist. I'm kind of expecting this to be a support Alchemist at this point, just to run at people, and of course giving some extra minus armor with his Acid Spray, which is going to be helping out a lot. Put Viper mid, and still get an off lane there. And it looks like Power Rangers is still expecting at least a solo lane to pick up, because they still ban out the Storm Spirit. So we'll see, because, I mean, Poseidon have a lot of options with this lineup as well. I mean, they've got, in theory, 3 cores with an Alchemist, Viper and a Bristleback, and if we believe, of course, previous game, they've got 4 cores, because Venomancer mid is a thing. Viper can be mid, Alchemist can be mid, Bristleback can be off lane, can be safe lane. Like, they have a lot of options here, and I think they have a lot more options at this point than what Power Rangers has, and that's their biggest advantage. On top of that, they are the ones to have last pick, and I think that's a big advantage here as well, because they can just decide what they want to do with their lineup after Power Rangers already revealed all their cards.
Yeah, and I think Power Rangers think they're going to be going into dual lanes here, because nothing else really makes a huge amount of sense. You can run Bristleback and Viper as offlaners. It's pretty poor, though. We haven't seen it for a long time, because they don't really get anything done from that position. And that's why I think they banned out the Storm Spirit, because they think they're going to run dual lanes, so the Storm Spirit would go mid. And Tinker by Power Rangers, not sure where they're going with this one. I guess this is going to be an aggressive tri-lane with a Clockwork as the farmer in that?
I would expect that, because Tinker needs either mid bottom, or mid or bottom solo lane. I think he can also go solo mid, solo bottom rather, and then put Klink solo mid, but like none of these three cores with the Clockwork, Klinks, and Tinker is going to be one that's really nice when you have got an aggressive tri-lane. Or that's really, yeah. Tinker and Klinks definitely are not nice with an aggressive tri-lane. I'm actually starting to think perhaps they want to have the Naga Siren as they want to take the farm and Clockwork just as a support on an aggressive tri-lane. That could be an option.
Yeah, both of those are perfectly capable. It really depends. I think, to be honest, it will be less about who's going to take the farm and who about gets the first blood out of those two, and then they'll probably just give the farm onto either of those there. But looks like it's going to be a Vengeful Spirit, the last pickup from Poseidon here, so their lanes really are shrouded in mystery right now, to be honest. I'm not sure who's going to go where. I believe Jotun plays support for the team, so I assume it's going to be a core Venomancer again?
Well, I am expecting that to be KSI, so I don't think so. They have actually changed their tags. Well, KSI plays offlane normally for his team, but I mean, they've been switching up a bit of roles lately, so I don't think we can say anything just yet. But the thing that we can say is that there's a lot of minus armor on this one.
10 seconds.
They have a ton of minus armor and a ton of percentage-based plus damage coming out from the Vengeance Aura. I actually do really, really like this lineup. I'm not sure where they're going to go with it or how they're going to run it, but I do like the lineup that Poseidon are working with here. I think PR's lineup is almost a little bit gimmicky at this point. There's nothing really on their team that is a reliable hero that's been seen as a hero that you always pick up. There's no, for instance, on the side of Poseidon we have the Alchemist, who's been in constant play from the professional scene for months and months now, whereas the side of PR, they've got the Naga Siren, the Clockwork. Those are reliable heroes, but we don't know how they're going to lane. I don't know, I'm not sure about this one for the side of PR.
I am mesmerized by the mouth of the Venomancer at this point in this pause, because he's blinking every time he closes his mouth, and it feels like he should be getting muscle ache from that, because you just get tired from looking at it.
Yeah, but he's a snake. Do snakes get muscle ache?
But do snakes constantly have their mouth open? No. They keep their mouth closed.
He's not entirely a snake now. He's like a snake thing.
Cobra.
He got changed and now he's even more evil and scary looking.
With his mouth open. Like, his poison sacs are drying out at this point.
That's true, yeah. Should we get or do you get a vet or a doctor? Because he used to be a person, but now he's a snake guy.
To be honest, I don't think he used to be a person either. I think he's just needing to get a doctor. A vet, I mean. But even that...
Have you not read his lore? He used to be a person. That's Venomancer's lore. He used to be a person and he was, like, screwing around with something and now he's a Venomancer. I don't know.
Well, he is then very sad. His transformation is even going worse then. Looks like we have got the same set, by the way. Is once again a green stone around his neck. Let's take a look at who is playing a what as we have unpaused this game, so we can finally see some more shape here in these lanes. Looks like we're going to have Illidan on this safe lane. We'll be playing the Bristleback. We'll be taking on the farm there. Tamar Wild will play solo mid Alchemist. So that's going to be our questions answered there. And we've got an aggressive tri-lane with a Viper, a Vengeful Spirit, and a Venomancer. Venomancer played by KSI. Jotun playing the Vengeful Spirit and Solo playing the Viper. And this aggressive tri-lane, I am pretty scared for Power Rangers, because this is
30 seconds to battle.
Annoyance at its finest, I'd say.
This is a really, really strong aggressive tri-lane. And the thing is as well, is PR are going to absolutely rely on their Tinker and their Klinks getting good farm during the laning stage. So they have to scout this out as early as possible. If they don't scout out the lane of Poseidon early on, they're going to end up with an issue which they already have, which is ZXC. He's going to be solo safe lane for the moment. They need to rotate him up versus the Bristleback. Obviously that's not a great lane for him, but it's going to be way better than having him in a defensive tri-lane. It's just not a situation in which Tinker really does well. I've seen a couple of times it happen. It worked okay for the Tinker, but it's not really ideal for him.
Yeah, both Tinker and Klinks need that core item to start with. The Orchid on one, the Boots of Travel on the other, and if the lanes go okay for Poseidon, there's no way they're going to get that in time, I think. If this aggressive tri-lane for Poseidon works well, they should be able to slow down the Tinker enough And by the time that they realize, you know what, we can actually leave the lane for a bit, we're going to have ganks going towards the Klinks, who's not going to be able to get away either, and who's not going to be having his Orchid yet either, because he won't be farming fast enough for that, I think. So this is a very tricky situation. We already have the rotation of the supports from Poseidon into the jungle, just at least maybe punishing Power Rangers for the pool that they're doing. By the way, I'll leave Power Rangers still for you to introduce, although we might be taking a small break here from that, because Poseidon is... Where are they
they're
going?
looking to go aggressive. I don't know.
They're thinking someone is in the jungle? Or maybe they were...
Yeah, they think the Crystal Maiden is going to be in the jungle because they haven't seen her so far. Crystal Maiden, she's actually going to do something I've never seen in a professional game nor a pub game ever before. She's going to do a jungle swap. Now, Crystal Maiden is playable as a jungler. It is really weird to see her switching from her own jungle to the enemy jungle, though. This is so strange. This is something you only ever really see from Enchantress or Chen.
FNG might be the first blood here, but the March of the Machines, the Ensnare, maybe they get a return kill here. That would be a very great start for Power Rangers if they get it going. One more hit needed. Come on, ZXC, can you do it? No, the salve comes out from Jotum. That's going to be enough for him to keep him up. But that's already very scary. Of course, a lot of mana used for that for Power Rangers. But the potential is definitely there. I underestimate this dual lane.
Yeah, they have the potential to kill, but like you said, ZXC already is out of 2/3 of his mana pool. The Naga Siren has used up most of her mana pool. She's popped off for clarity, but it's not going to last a long time. And in the middle lane, Tame My Wild being gone on by Moon, as well as J4 here. Looks like he was going to be the first blood, but actually it's going to be Cheshire Cat taking out the Bristleback here. Nice laning from him.
The one lane that we hadn't seen just yet. The Cogs locked that Bristleback in place, and he died. So that's going to be Cheshire Cat's Clockwork. Just rotate real quickly. Cheshire Cat Clock, but a middle lane has already seen, Moon on the Killings, where you already saw J4, aggressive jungler, and helping out for that second kill on the Crystal Maiden, and it's going to be FNG's Naga Siren with already, as you pointed out, ZXC playing the Tinker. So I have to say that Power Rangers have got the best start that they could have hoped for right there.
I'm very surprised they managed to get such a good start in the early stage, and I'm very surprised Poseidon haven't punished them yet. I would have thought that Tame My Wild would be winning this matchup pretty handily versus Moon here, for one reason and one reason only, is that Klinks has an awful HP pool, and Alchemist has Acid Spray, and that absolutely burns on a normal solo mid. Moon has far less health than a normal solo mid does, and he really struggles with taking the Acid Spray damage, so I'm surprised they managed to get that first blood. It was really nice rotation from the aggressive jungling J4 then on Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, Power Rangers getting ahead here on the top lane, even though perhaps Cheshire Cat, he has got 2 bottle charges, but he might be in a bit of trouble here. Illidan, he might be the one to go down. Flare, one hit, boom, you're dead. That's another kill for Cheshire Cat right there, and Vengeful Spirit tried to help out, couldn't do it.
He's now level 6. What a man Cheshire Cat is. This is
4 minutes in.
This is amazing. I said before, if you give a Clockwork a good start, he can absolutely dominate a game. Hookshot is an amazing early spell to use, and he's gone for my favourite build as well, which is that max battery assault build. This does an absolutely ridiculous amount of magic damage in the early game.
Venomancer, you're dead! Ha! Power Rangers, they do it. They go for the Ensnare here. Solo is going to be the one that might be in some trouble. They should be fine though. Teleporting coming from the Vengeful Spirit again, which rotation was completely useless. Perhaps they're going to get they're going to get the Crystal Maiden. Alchemist will be ending up stunning himself, which will also take...
Cheshire Cat's going to probably go in for the kill here, yeah.
Hookshot, Cogs, Power Rangers. They are on fire. We just made a case when the game was still 1:0 that they were gonna be having to play, a bit defensive because they need those core items up on both their Tinker and their Klings. But Cheshire Cat and the supports here for Power Rangers are just fighting fire with fire, and it's working out so well. I'm impressed.
Clockwork may be small, but he is a Megazord for Power Rangers. He is the absolute power for them right now. He's going to have to open up this map even more, probably, just because Poseidon have really a more reliable team as far as their heroes go. But Cheshire Cat he's doing work for them right now. 3-0 in less than 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, personally, the only hero that I've seen him do this kind of plays with is the Bounty Hunter. To be honest, I haven't casted Cheshire Cat for a while though, but he is indeed a very aggressive off-lane player, and I'm very much enjoying his Clockwork right now. I hope he can keep it up. That's one of the things that is going to be most difficult, continuing to find those kind of pickoffs, because of course Poseidon, they now realize what kind of team they are up against, so they will be a bit more careful from this point onward, also meaning that their aggressive Trilon has stopped working, so Solo is now by himself, the supports have rotated into the jungle. But I'm hoping that Power Rangers can still continue their aggressive streak, because if they can't, they'll still be in some trouble later on in this game, because there's still going to be a lot of sustainability and minus armor coming off from Poseidon.
Yeah, the basic principle behind Poseidon's lineup is just a lot more reliable. That basic minus armor thing, we've seen it time and time again, is just, it doesn't always do badly without farm. And Cheshire Cat here is probably going to go for another kill on Jotum, who's only level 3. The supports are struggling so badly. He is going to go down. Whether J4 is going to die for this or not, though, he looks a little bit out of position, but Funsker is here as well. They're going to take out Illidan too. Oh, give the kill to Cheshire Cat. Oh, he's so powerful. Oh, this is so bad for the side of Poseidon.
He is level 8 at 7 minutes in this game. It's 2 levels higher than the highest level on Poseidon, which is the Bristleback that they just killed. In the meantime, on the bottom lane, perhaps they can get a kill though. ZXC standing in his Martian Machines, but not saved by it. Killed by a neutral! Oh my god!
Oh,
that
everything is going the way of PR.
How do you pronounce that? Wool Assassin?
Vool. I think it's Vool.
Vool. Okay, the Vool Assassin gets the kill. He also is having his mouth dried out, by the way, and he's got a pretty bad overbite. Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty awful, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did get the last hit with that bite, so I guess we can't judge him all too much. In the meantime, Tamar Wild, I mean, one of the players, of course, that can take this back for Poseidon. He's not really getting that much here in the middle lane. He is getting 29 last hits. But compared to Moon, who's got 46, well, you know, that's a pretty big, substantial difference that you have there. So, what do you think that Poseidon is really hoping for? What's going to be their moment to turn this around?
I'm really not sure. I guess Tame My Wild, he's going to have to go for a mech for his team, probably. That's generally what we see on the solo mid Alchemists. They're going to have to rotate the supports better. They're going to have to probably... I'm really not sure. I don't think they predicted the laning stage would go this badly for them. The Illidan's got basically no farm. He's sitting on a ring of health 8 minutes in, which is awful for him. Jotum and KSI are going to have to team up and somehow get themselves a lot of kills for this team. They do have the Viper who's doing well for himself, and actually he's going to be the one going for the mech. So Tamo Wild's able to go sort of more damage build, which is something I'd like to see out of him, because I mean, he's Tame My Wild. He's the sort of person to go aggressive, so yeah, he really wants those items that allow him to get the kills.
Well, he's pretty far off from his boots of travel. Wow, from his Shadow Blade at this point. Hopefully,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he goes.
Yeah, if it is indeed that Shadow Blade, indeed. Rotation from the supports, you say, has to be better. Well, they are trying to make that happen. They have smoked up, sitting in mid lane, very far away from the lane though, but I mean, this is difficult because they're level 3. They're up against supports that are level 5 and level 4. On top of that, they are ganking people that are way higher level than them as well. Because
if you just saw on the map, they both drew to go for Cheshire Cat, who's now on the solo safe lane for the moment. If they gank him, he could just turn it around very quickly and kill them, because I believe Battery Assault at this level does 1075 damage to a single target. He can kill them so easily. He could kill both of them so easily.
They will have Solo with him as well. Solo has got his ulti, so perhaps they can make it happen. Well, they're gonna try. In they come. Then comes the Viper Strike. Gale still hits as well.
It's not happening. The cogs,
Spirit
it's just too strong.
He didn't turn around and kill them. It could have been worse, but, you know, that's a gank failed right there. And that's... those kind of rotations, at this point for Poseidon, they have to start working.
Yeah, and one thing that I would say is looking up is... well, I say looking up. Moon is going for a Hand of Midas. I really don't think this build is efficient on Clinks, especially in this game where you're seeing Poseidon have got under-leveled supports. If he could pick up a fast Orchid, he could just go and kill everybody. But he's decided to go for the Midas instead, more of a farming build. And he's actually going to be going after Illidan here. He's got a double damage rune on. He hasn't used Death Pact yet. Is he going to go for this kill on Illidan? I feel like he can't get him.
Nah, he can't. Not without help, anyways. Or at least without his ulti. So FNG was not close by enough, and of course if he would have rotated that would have been quite obvious. There was going to be a go on that. So doesn't do it. Also gets his Midas now on the courier, so he'll be having it in his inventory shortly. In the meantime, Tameabout is at least making some use of the mid lane that's got left alone. So he's now getting more farm, and his courier is actually bringing him some more items to be maybe roaming around a bit more with. In the meantime, Cheshire Cat, he's got his hookshot on cooldown. Looks like he made a go, but didn't get a kill with it or missed. But he is just free farming bottom right now. He is 5 for 0 for 0. Second highest farmed hero on the map, with Kling still higher than that, even without the Hand of Midas in his pocket yet.
Do it with flair.
Poseidon, they're struggling. They are really
They're
struggling
struggling
at this
really badly, and they have heroes who want to do well in lane as well. Unlike PR, who have heroes who are, you know, a bit more reliant on sort of mid-game impact and such, they do still have the minus armor though. So they do have that. They have very, very strong focus fire, particularly because they have a ton of minus armor, and they have unstable concoction, which does damage based on physical damage. It's one of the few physical stun spells. So there is that, and Tameabout's got a haste rune here. I think he should go for a kill with this right now.
Oh, he's a bit in doubt where he's going to go. There we go. We do have a Vanguard for the Bristleback. Perhaps he's going to try to help out here bottom as well. Nope. Oh, Tameabout charging up a stun. Looking for Cheshire Cat. Viper Strike will be there as well. The stun flies in. No cogs in this time. Viper Strike as well. Will there be a gale in time? Yes, there will be. Cheshire Cat saved by the hook, but not so much. The poison and the acid spray still too much. Alchemist gets the credit for that kill. The song wasted. That's the kind of kill they should have had and needed very badly as well. Look at the difference in net worth all of a sudden. That's insane amount of difference. That clockwork.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference for them, especially because of the changes to the way kill streaks works now. Taking somebody's kill streaks takes way more gold for you. If you kill somebody who has had a kill streak, which, I mean, obviously the Clockwork Cat, he was 5-0. Yeah, that's a really, really important pickup for them. It looks like the kill went on to the Alchemist there, who I really think is definitely the one who needs this.
Yeah,
he's the hero who scales best with items, so he's going to have to be the one who's going to do things for them in this game.
650 extra gold to his name. I think he is going to be really pleased with that. And the Clockwork, I have to say, I'm actually thinking, is he missing something? Because he was second highest on net worth just a moment ago. And now he's all of a sudden third. Is that just a kill? Because, I mean, Alchemist
I think he was
higher.
sitting on a lot of gold that just disappeared then. I'm not entirely sure what happened then, because, well, he has got a lot of gold invested in a Staff of Wizardry, which is 1,000 gold that doesn't really do anything for him at this point. Depends what he's going to go. He'll probably go Force Staff. Really, I'd like to see Necrobook come out from him, because he was snowballing, but I don't know.
I'm expecting Force Staff from him, because he just likes to play so aggressive, and, you know, cogging in an Alchemist, for example, and then able to Force Staff yourself out, same thing goes for Bristleback, is insanely useful. So I'm expecting that from him. Meantime, we have the Buckler ready for solo together with the Headdress, so he's only about 400 gold away from having his mechanism complete. And that's going to be helping Poseidon out a lot. And then they could actually try, together with the Vanguard of the Bristleback, and maybe Alchemist with his first item, I think they could try to go 5-man and try to get towers down. And try to take advantage
that's
of the
going to
fact
be
that
their
Tinker
best
is not
option.
yet having
And it's going to
much
be hard
travel.
to fight their 5-man. It's going to be really hard to fight their 5-man because of the minus armor and the mech, and it's not something that anybody on the side of PR is actually going for yet. Nobody's going to be able to get a mech at this early stage. Obviously, none of their cores are going to be able to, other than maybe the Clockwork is a relatively good mech carrier, but like we said, he's going Force Staff, so...
Yeah, not much chance for Mechanism just yet. Naga Siren perhaps later on, but as you said, it will take quite a while before they have that one up. And Tinker is only sitting, well actually he is only 225 gold away from having his boot to travel up. And when that happens, it's going to be putting Power Rangers in a bit more of a safe spell. Even if Poseidon tries to go for a bit more of a 5-man lineup, a bit more of a 5-man push.
Yeah, and with that, they'll be able to split push, they'll be able to push the map all over the place. Anybody who goes on their own versus the side of PR as well is going to suffer a very, very grisly demise because they have very, very good initiation from the Clockwork. They have the the heroes that you'll never really see until they get there, and when they do get there are gonna, you know, put down a lot of damage, which is Moon and which is Tinker. The Naga Siren and the Crystal Maiden don't really achieve a huge amount for that, but they are very good at counter pushing. So I think their mid game strategy on the side of PR is going to be all about counter pushing and you know, split pushing, and then trying to take just a few occasional little pickoffs rather than any major team fights.
Yeah, I think that Poseidon did a very good job of a damage control here. I mean, the gold graph is still in favor of Power Rangers, but not as much. I mean, only 3k, which is something that you can, of course, come back from. They haven't lost any towers, even though Power Rangers was very dominant at the start of the game. Of course, experience shows a big difference, but that's... Oh, wait a second. Gank happening mid. Oh, they want to go for the Alchemist. He's already frostbitten in. He throws out a stun still. Finds Moon. In comes Illidan, perhaps. Poseidon can try to turn this around. Nasal Goo up on FNG, looking for a go. Can't find it. Have to back off. Tinker showing up. Hookshot coming in from Cheshire Cat. The cogs force him out. No go, no kill. Teleport cancelled. Crisis averted for both teams.
Yeah, it looks like PR just wanted to disengage. As soon as they saw the Bristleback come in, it was already hard enough to kill the Alchemist. He's got Chemical Rage on, which is absolutely ridiculous during the early game now. It's, what is it, 50 bonus health regen a second. Compare that to, say, the base of, I don't know, random hero Clinks. He's got 1.3. It is insanely hard to gank an Alchemist at this stage of the game, and with Chemical Rage on like that, there was never going to be a kill there. Nice hook shot from Cheshire Cat, but I think it was just used to disengage. He even purposely moved back before using the cogs, so he was just trying to block them. He didn't even want to get anyone in there.
Yeah, just, you know, getting their towers safe. I mean, that's something that they need to be doing, I guess, at this point, because Poseidon is starting to get stronger and Power Rangers recognizes that, so they're just buying time for Moon to get his Orchid up, who's still highest farmed hero on the map. Of course, part of that is his Hand of Midas, which doesn't really give him that much just yet, but he is getting there. And of course, Tinker will be able to help with protecting the towers as well, just teleporting in whenever needed, and March of the Machines, as he has got those boots of travel. He will be also able to lay down some March of the Machines on the bottom tier one, which is almost dead, only 150 health left on that tower. But 3 heroes already hanging around here for Poseidon, so perhaps they want to make something happen, because now also the Alchemist comes in. Alchemist with the Blink Dagger.
That's a relatively smart item pickup there. He wants some sort of initiation. Shadow Blade's pretty expensive for exactly the same thing, and frankly, it doesn't give you as much as you might want now. On the way the new Alchemist is, with the fact that you don't have any base added health, he probably wants to go for the cheaper Blink Dagger so he can get himself up a BKB just a little bit faster, I would say.
Yeah, ooh, and Snare. To get away, Naga needs some help. At least if they continue pushing here, which is something that I'm expecting them to do, because they've got their mechanism ready. I think this is their point, where they try to force out something here on the bottom lane and perhaps try to split push a bit on the middle lane. But we'll see. We have got the reaction TPs already coming in. ZXC, March of the Machines, and they go.
Yeah, with Tinker already here, it's going to be really hard. You can see they use the mech as early as possible, and the creep wave is already dying anyway. It doesn't make a difference. Tinker's just a great tower defender, and he's got his Boots of Travel online relatively fast as well. He's already got a Soaring as well, and it looks like he's going to work towards a quick Force Staff too.
Yeah, Force Staff, by the way, also up on the clockwork just now, as you said that, so maybe that allows ZXC to be a bit more aggressive, and maybe it allows him to help out ZXC. Oh, he is going to go down though. Bristleback able to get the kill. Cheshire Cat looking for that hook shot. Maybe he gets it. Looking for it, or just punching. Punching works. Hook shot, flare. Wow, this is just, you know, he can just run at it. This is just a kill for the tower. 1 for 1, a nice kill for Poseidon though. Losing Bristleback for it is not a shame if you get a Tinker, so therefore might be opening yourself up for taking down the tier 1 tower bottom without worrying about the March of the Machines.
Yeah, that was well worth it for the side of Poseidon. It's a little bit suicidal. I think Bristleback knew that though. Really, that's kind of how you have to play Bristleback. He's a mid-game focused carry hero. He doesn't do a huge amount in the late game, so smart move generally to just throw himself in for a kill there, because he knows the Tinker is really an issue for the side of Poseidon right now.
Now, we've been drawing from the minimap from Solo about going to the bottom lane via a detour, so perhaps they want to try and gank someone that comes to help to defend the bottom lane. Tinker is back up again though, so any fight that Poseidon tries to take won't be as easy again. I have to say, I mean, with the great start that Cheshire Cat had on his Clockwork, I'm disappointed with the amount of aggression he can actually create, because we basically are at a bit of an impasse where both teams don't feel that they're ahead enough to try and make something happen, and it's a shame.
I'm gonna be honest, I think it's partly related to the item build he's gone with here. Force Staff is a great Clockwork item when you're, you know, sort of
Nice,
contesting
ancient
things.
stack, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a ton of gold going their way, and you can see they're even working on the XP for it. Clockwork is trying to do something about it, but I don't think they can initiate on this.
They can't. Those quill sprays.
But yeah. Yeah, I think though, like I said, the Clockwork's item build is partly related to this, because Force Staff is great when you're a little bit behind, but when you're ahead, you really want a snowball item, or an item that basically just turns you into a complete monster in the game. You want either tank items or damage items, so I think possibly just even going something like a Vanguard. I know it's, you know, it's not the most cost efficient of items, but it would have made him really hard to kill.
Bottom lane tower still goes down, but the song catches in 4. The cogs are there, the teleporting from the Tinker as well. Looking for someone. Who are they gonna go for? Mechanism already used. It comes Tame Wild. He's actually going on Moon. They get the kill. Empire, or sorry, Power Rangers. They are in deep trouble right now. They were the one to initiate after the songs, and they already lost 2. Didn't get anything in return, and lost our tower on top of that one. FNG seems to be getting away from that one, but with both the Clinks and the Clockwork down, the 2 highest farmed heroes on Power Rangers, well, that is just a bit terrible.
That's really bad for them. And you know how I was saying about the Vanguard? Change that for a mech. Imagine if the Clockwork had a mech in that fight. That would have made a huge difference for their team. They might have kept people alive a bit longer. They might have even been able to get themselves a few extra kills then. So I really feel like when you're at an advantage with the Clockwork, you should take items that allow you to fight directly rather than these sort of, you know, outplaying items like a Force Staff might be.
Yeah, it's
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's a shame. Power Ranger, oh, they're gonna lose their Tinker perhaps. No, he stays alive up against their Ancients. Not as big of a stack as Poseidon had, but still decent enough for him, as he's almost got his Force Staff ready. I'm really thinking that with a Blink Dagger he might have been able to do more, but he just wants to have that movement as fast as possible to start split pushing, because that bottom tower just now, at 18 minutes in the game, that was the first tower to drop. And that's a very late tower for a team that has a Tinker in their pool. Looks like a tier 1 tower is about to drop as well. And actually the team with the Tinker doesn't even have a tower just yet. Illidan doesn't die from those arrows. Tame Wild turns around for perhaps a stun, finds it on Cheshire Cat, but doesn't go in on it. Backs off out.
Yeah, you can really see how aggressive Tame My Wild's able to be on the Alchemist there. If any other hero had been standing where Tame My Wild was standing to throw that stun off, they would die. Cheshire Cat would just kill them. But Alchemist, with his ridiculous now 100 regen a second on base health, is actually really hard to kill at this point, even though he's only got a relatively low base health, which makes him really quite weak without Chemical Rage, but with it on, he's a monster.
And perhaps Moon can be a monster too now that he has an Orchid, because he has it. He's gonna try to turn things around for his team again. He will be up against a
mid lane ZXC's been initiated on by Tame My Wild and Solo. Nice play by Solo then. He had an Invis rune, walked up to the high ground, then ultied. Tame My Wild jumped in through the fog with a stun. Nice play from them.
And a fast kill as well. And without a Tinker, the fighting potential of Power Rangers kind of drops. And especially now also with that Heaven's Halberd up on Illidan. How are they gonna get this? How is Power Rangers gonna keep their towers from falling? The Night Tower on the top lane, that's the first tower to go down on the line of Poseidon, so that's gonna be at least a little bit of gold for Power Rangers, but the Night Tower still nonetheless. They'll lose their mid tower here as well. Poseidon, I think they have fully recovered from their not so successful early lane. They might lose Tame My Wild though here in the middle lane. Moon, he's gonna get it. The stun doesn't happen, and that's gonna be the first showing of the Orchid of Moon.
Yeah, nice kill from Moon then. They did manage to get that kill, but he needed a certain amount of help with this. And this is what I mean when I talked about the Hand of Midas on Clinks. This does mean that your Orchid is pushed back a little bit. Your late game will be stronger on the Clinks, which is something that Clinks is unreliable in. If he has a good mid game, Clinks is really powerful late game. If he has a mediocre or a bad mid game, Clinkz is awful or even completely useless late game, which for a carry hero that you have to put a lot of farm on is pretty bad. So yeah, the Midas is working out relatively well for him. It's just making them a little bit more reliable, perhaps a little bit less punchy in the early game though.
Yeah. Well, I can't describe it. Oh, I can. I'm just.
Dire's middle tower
I was
is
very
under
hopeful at
attack.
the start of the game, and it went really well in terms of the amount of kills that happened. But I'm kind of disappointed. I was really expecting a bloodbath in this game. Perhaps it's
Blame
still gonna
Tinker.
happen.
Stuff
Blame
like
what?
that is always Tinker's fault. Blame Tinker.
Yeah.
Tinker, it just even more anti-fun than anti-mage. At least anti-mage, you know, his way of farming is cool. He's got like double blades and stuff. Tinker's a nerd. Like, that's not cool.
With a pipe, even.
Yeah,
Unhealthy
he's an
nerd.
old nerd.
Yeah.
Wow, that is like, that's a pretty unique subset.
With a pipe and a beard, and all he does is press buttons to send his machines out. But yeah, he is basically the one that's preventing Poseidon from being as aggressive as I think they could be. But he's also making sure that Cheshire Cat knows that like he doesn't have to be aggressive because they got a Tinker. They can just wait it out and split push and just find kills, you know, that happen to come to them as their own ancient stack gets wiped away by Poseidon, by the way.
Yeah, and this is a real issue that PR are having, is they can't actually directly engage Poseidon. So if Poseidon want to take the enemy ancient stack, they can. There's nothing that anybody can do about it without summoning 5 heroes to suddenly deal with just an Alchemist and a Bristleback, and even then they're really tanky. Alchemist and Bristleback, not easy heroes to kill at this stage of the game. And it's only going to get harder.
Yeah, we've got a Necronomicon being built up by the Alchemist, indeed. So I'm... like, that's not really an item that I was expecting him to go for, but I guess he's working more towards more of a pushing lineup with the Venomancer wards and just... you know, more of a 5-man lineup, I should call it, rather than anything else. Just group
Yeah,
up
and it
push.
benefits from his minus armor, the acid spray. It's also kind of nice because it does give him a fair amount of extra strength, which of course with the way the new chemical rage works is really, really essential. So it's a bit of an odd item build. I kind of like it though. You know, he can jump in and suddenly drop off a whole unit of Necronomicons and start wailing on people. It's kind of interesting.
And Moon can get away from him then, because if he has that level 3, of course, he will reveal Moon with that as well if he pops it. Moon, by the way, is very close to his own BKB. And that might allow him to be a bit more aggressive. Perhaps he's going to try to get out solo here. I'm not sure if he has enough damage. But he's not even going to try. Never mind that.
He might have wanted to try that one. He didn't know that Solo's mech was actually off cooldown. Perhaps if he'd known, he might have gone for it. But he can't really cut through 1600 health at this point in the game. He's not doing enough damage, and he's going to have to get a BKB as well. So he's not really snowballing as hard as you might want.
What a timing for a pause. Illidan is sitting just ensnared just a second ago by FNG, and it looks like Naga Siren wants at least to harass him a bit, but the drawing from the minimap already came out from Solo to go towards the top lane and just try to backstab that Naga Siren. I think FNG, run for your life or know for a fact that your team is going to be there within seconds.
Oh, he's actually going with the Naga Siren jump in.
Yeah, in comes the song, in comes the teleports, in comes the cogs. Can they be more successful than previous time? They go for the Vengeful Spirit, who's silenced up for the moment, will end up dropping, now looking for the next one, Illidan, who's trying to do what he can to the Tinker. They won't get him this time though, Illidan will be the one to drop, but in comes the Cavalry, Tamar Wild, jumping in with stuns, with Chemical Rage, Tinker drops, Clinkz drops, it is Power Rangers that get forced back once again. It is 1-4-2, and they lose a tower. Perhaps they even lose more because Cheshire Cat
on the back
will
line.
find himself stunned and taken down. That is a complete disaster. Crystal Maiden also still dropped 4 for 1 Vengeful Spirit. Well, that is not worth it whatsoever. And again, that's the second time that Power Rangers initiate in a way like that. Second time they lose like that.
Yeah, and it was a cute play. It looked like it was going really well for them, but the same issue arises. They don't have a mech, they don't have heroes that can engage in a 5-man team fight, and they just sort of fall apart. And now another initiation by Tamar Wild. He's going to go on to Funska here, or FNG, but FNG's going to keep on running out. They're going to continue diving. He's actually going to go down from this. Edixie's TP'd in, probably feeling a little bit silly, but he has a Force Staff, and he is going to make his way out of there.
Yeah, he's gonna of course wish the wave back again with the Martian machines, but I think that Poseidon got, well, more than they bargained for, actually. I think they were going to take the tier 1 and back off, but because of Power Rangers initiating that fight, well, they took it. They took the tier 2 as well and just showed their strength. This is going to be putting Power Rangers back quite a bit, not just because of the gold they lost and the map control they lost, as they are now 7,000 gold behind and 5k experience behind, but I think also just making them even more passive than they already were. Oh, stun will still hit up a Cheshire Cat, but it won't be a very long stun, so he should be able to get away just fine.
Yeah, even with the full duration stun, Cheshire Cat still has, you know, multiple ways of escaping. He still has the hook shot, the power cogs, as well as a force staff. He even has blade mail, so he's not really the sort of person you want to be trying to kill, but Poseidon are taking a lot of map control right now. They, like you said, they took out the tier 1, they rolled with it, they even managed to take the tier 2, and then dive the enemy base. Poseidon, they just have such a tanky lineup, and they have a mech, whereas PR have a lot of heroes who are a bit thin on the ground. Crystal Maiden, Moon on the Clinks, whenever he's not using the Death Pact, he's not very tanky. Tinker's not very tanky. Even the Naga's running a little low on health this game, although she saved up a ton of gold. So, this lineup really needed a mech for the side of PR, and Poseidon, they're the ones with the mech, so they're able to just run around fighting whenever they feel like it.
FNG can buy it, but perhaps he wants to be more having a blink dagger, but we already saw that. Even with a nice song initiation, they can't make it happen, so yeah, mechanism. I'd say go for it, FNG. Go for it.
Yeah, they already have ways of initiating as well. They have the clockwork, for instance.
Yeah.
They already have a force staff as well on the Crystal Maiden. Even she can kind of initiate. I mean, she'll die for it, but it's a Crystal Maiden in this game. She's going to die no matter what, so.
Crystal Maiden, by the way, with her Hand of Midas, she is doing pretty nice with that force staff. Yeah. I have to say, she's
she's gotten a fair amount of gold.
Yeah. Not as much as the Venomancer, though, who has also got a Hand of Midas, but.
Yeah, Venomancer much more able to farm different areas on the map. He can jungle a lot more effectively with Plague Wards. Plague Wards? Jesus, that was... I forgot how to speak English momentarily, but it's fine. I've remembered now.
Happens to everybody. Including the people that don't actually speak English. Or at least, I mean, don't have it as their first language.
Yeah.
Speak English. Ooh, double damage up on the Clinks. If this smoke gank is gonna attempt this, then they better be prepared for that. But Clinks is actually backing himself out, runs towards the enemy jungle. The smoke gank of the 4 heroes of Poseidon goes to the Roshan instead.
Yeah, they're just going to try and split push for the moment. I think they've probably worked out what the side of Poseidon are doing. They've all been missing off the map for a while. They don't have vision of the area, but it becomes pretty obvious. It looks like PR don't know what's happening because they're not pushing the tier 2 here. So they don't get that tier 2 for it, so not a good trade for them at all, because they don't trade anything, they don't get anything from it.
Yeah, they might actually find themselves in a fight that they cannot take. Everybody of Poseidon is rotating into their own jungle, where there's still 2 heroes of Power Rangers. They do have some vision, so that's nice. They will be able to get out in time, but that could have ended way differently. But yeah, they don't get anything in return for having the Roshan being taken away from them. Not even a tower. Perhaps Moon now finally gets a tier 1 mid. Yep, there we go. That's something that Killings can do, of course, every single time. If there's nobody around there. Only with tier 1 towers, because the rest has backdoor protection, but the tier 1s don't. Tema Wild stuns himself, but I don't think he even minds. Chemical Rage heals people up so fast.
Yeah, I think actually he's got a really smart thing here. He's picked up a Ghost Scepter in for himself. If he Ghost Scepters when the Unstable Concoction goes off, it's physical damage, so he doesn't get hurt by it.
Ooh, swap! That's a kill right there, trying to TP yourself out, but Jordan got the swap going, so Clockwork drops. Ownage being called, and this one is for Poseidon.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, Poseidon have really gotten control of this game, and it's based off their tanky lineup, and they're really rolling with that at the moment. You know, they're going for these survivability items, they're going for 5-man items, and PR's split push just isn't as effective as Poseidon's just straight up 5-man has been so far.
I'm still kind of worried here for Power Rangers, and I think that I'm right in that. I mean, this is just not going well in terms of late game. Like, if you look at this game, 50 minutes in. Well, I guess since we're 30 minutes in right now, look at this 1 hour in. I still wouldn't put it in favor of Power Rangers. They still don't have the better fighting lineup. Of course, Tinker is one of the better heroes later on in the game. But with the amount of sustainability that Poseidon has, they can actually fight in March of the Machines, I think. That wouldn't
Poseidon
be too
have probably
sad for
the
that.
naturally stronger late game lineup because they have Alchemist, they have Bristol, they have Viper, they have the Vengeful Spirit auras and such backing them up, and they have a lot of minus armor. I do think late game PR have the potential to sort of outplay. I mean, Tinker is a classic example of that. He's a very, very high skill cap hero. He's ultra maneuverable with the right items. He can essentially pop off every skill, you know, every second once he's got rearm maxed out. But he requires a lot of items to do it, and any single mistake will get him killed. Will absolutely get him killed versus Poseidon's lineup. So, yeah. PR can take this late if they want to, but I think things have already gone badly for them. They don't really have any other option right now, and Solo's finished a full heart. Oh, Jesus, that's, he's the tank lord right now.
Yep, he is. Looks like Poseidon also have, secured the Radiant jungle. Looks like also Cheshire Cat's waiting for something to come by to kill. I'm not sure. He cannot take down Tamar Wild, though. I mean, that's just not possible.
Especially not with Tamar Wild's ulti. That's not going to happen.
No.
Maybe with the assistance of Moon, but Moon has to make sure that he pushes out this lane in a sort of natural-looking way to do it. Maybe they're going to go on Tamar Wild now. I think they might. Are they going to do so? No?
Yeah, Moon is going to come in from behind. They are looking for it. They're going to try. The cogs are there. Locking in Tamar Wild. In comes Moon with the strafe, but...
Ghost Scepter.
Ghost Scepter.
Brilliant item pickup versus
And
Lynx.
ooh, Crystal Maiden with the freezing field. Oh, that one. I don't think that's something that Tamar Wild was expecting. That is Moon getting the kill still. Freezing field MVP. Crystal Maiden with the Force Staff.
Yeah, really, really nice play from them, but we have to think about this in terms of what it just costed them to try and get an Alchemist. They had to initiate with their Clockwork. It had to be a perfect initiation from Invis. They had to follow up with Moon, who used a full Orchid, as well as Strafe on that, and went for the kill. And then they had to go in with the Freezing Field to kill off one hero from the side of Poseidon. Yes, it's probably one of their hardest heroes not to kill, next to the Viper, but I don't know, they can't execute that in a team fight. They can only just get that now when they're trying to pick-offs. I don't know how they're going to get that on any other heroes either.
You know that support Naga Siren that doesn't want to buy a mechanism?
Is under attack.
What?
What? Yeah.
Poor Radiance, 34 minutes in. This is, I don't like this.
I don't like it,
lie.
but I'm actually thinking it might just work. It's very annoying. It's very turtle-ish. But I think this might be what they need.
That, so I guess they have to.
Still no
And like we
mechanism,
said,
but...
they do have... Yeah, I mean, at this point, the mech is falling off pretty hard. Once it gets to the 40-minute mark, you're like, yeah, screw it, I don't need a mech anyway. But I wish she'd got one earlier. I mean, she's had the money to get one since, like, sort of 20-odd minutes in. 22, maybe?
Like, she was sitting on 2,800 gold, 2,400 gold, and we were like, yeah, you know, she can buy it, but we'll see. And then all of a sudden, I see a Radiance picked up, and it's like, wait, which hero was that again? Because, you know, you don't always pay attention to the things on the side. And then I see the illusions. Oh, they find Illidan. They silence him up, but they are not going to go for him. They can't.
Illidan was taking literally no damage from the Radiance then. That was pretty scary.
Yeah, we might actually have Alchemist coming in with the stun, looking for someone, finds himself still Moon with the Necronomicon, revealing him. But FNG, do something! You have got an ensnare! But Moon gets himself away already, never mind. That was, awkward,
apparently, FNG had an argument with Moon yesterday and just wanted to teach him a lesson today, because there is no reason not to just, you know, throw an ensnare or something then. It's not like he's running out of mana, he's got a soul ring, I don't know.
It was a bit awkward.
I mean, I guess there was probably no real way that the Clinks was going to die, but you feel like you should always play safe with against a team like Poseidon, who are essentially the ex-VP, I believe, aren't they? Are they at the ex-VP lineup?
Yep, they
I'm
are.
not sure.
These were at least 3 of the people that were actually at TI3. Ooh, Crystal Main got scouted out here. Invert Pro, yes. That is correct indeed. And that's going to be another support with a big item. This is a Venomancer with his Aghanim Scepter. As a Tinker, by the way, is dead. He got picked up on the bottom lane by the Alchemist. This could be a potential tower for Poseidon because they don't have to deal with the Martian machines. They find Cheshire Cat, they swap him out of the cogs. They'll stun him up as well. Do they have the damage? The song comes in. Cheshire Cat, the poison's still ticking through, but he lives to see another day. Tamar Wild with that haste rune gets frostbitten. Looks like he'll be okay though with that chemical rage up. We'll get silence as well. Another poison coming out on Moon and Snare there as well, but they will get the tower. They won't get anything more. They shouldn't get anything more. Let's just say that because of course people can always throw.
That they can. And it is really hard to break PR's base at the moment. They have Tinker, they have CM, they now have their Radiant support Naga Siren, which is... I don't know what to say about that one. I mean, maybe if she eventually gets farmed, then she'll be a relatively good carry for this game, but Naga Siren's not exactly the hardest carry in the book. I mean, she does relatively well. I don't know, I don't see her getting to that point though. I mean, I see her maybe getting into Fusel Blade or a Manta. You know, I don't see her getting to an actual sort of full carry status during this game.
Crystal Maiden, on the other hand, has got a BKB, so she might. Who knows? Moon, by the way, is starting to build towards his Daedalus, and he has got 4,200 gold, so he could purchase it if he wants to right now. He's moving top to... Nah, I don't think he cannot kill off Illidan by himself. There's just no way. It looks like he
might possibly go for the Daedalus here, but I think he also kind of wants the MKB from this. It's still relatively cost-effective damage on Clinks, and Illidan has picked up a Heaven's Halberd, so that'll help him with that. Although, earlier when he tried to gank Illidan, it was it didn't work. Illidan just used the halberd on him and Clinks just walked off.
And Snare on Illidan, they can't perhaps take him down. Freezing Field comes out as well. Look at how tanky he is though. And in comes the cavalry. Swap into safety. Alchemist coming in with the stun. Moon is going to be the first one to drop here. Punch in the face. He dies. The rest tries to get themselves a hell out of dodge. FNG, the last one, teleports himself out, just out of range. And that should keep him safe. Only Moon is the one they lost. I guess that's the minimal damage they could expect, but that just goes to show that Bristleback, yeah, good luck trying to kill him. And they really need an MKB, you're absolutely right. And also, of course, the Viper also goes for Butterfly, so yes. Viper has a heart looking for that Butterfly. And, I mean, it doesn't work for me. The showcase thing. Bristleback, I cannot do
Wait,
the
you
camera
can't use
mode
it?
thing. No, it just says...
Showcase view available in free camera only? What do
That's
you mean
what I
free
get.
camera only? Yeah, I'm in free camera. So I'm confused.
So we're not sure what they're talking about.
Volvo, please fix.
Yeah. I also don't know why they would ask again in the alt chat, but nonetheless. We have it hard. As if it wasn't hard enough to kill before. But yeah, this is starting, like, even with the Tinker, even if fighting in the March of the Machines, is there enough damage to take care of Poseidon's lineup? I highly doubt it, especially if Illidan is gonna have 2 lives.
I think Clinks should just buy a Rapier. It's not the most reliable option. Oh, he's not going to do it. Alright, that makes me sad. He had the money for it, though. He had the 3.8k for the Relic, and he had the Demon Edge already. In a situation this bad, PR actually don't have a way of winning the game with the current items they have. Poseidon will just constantly beat them down. And, oh look, we got an item. Jotum's bought a Blink Dagger. We got an item that you didn't used to be able to buy on him.
We have got also Naga Siren that dies because he can't TP out, doesn't get Tamar Wild in return either. Tamar Wild, who was ganked upon, but too tanky to be taken down as well. Tinker not there in time. Oh, perhaps still.
Oh,
not.
Tamar
Oh, the
Wild
burn!
might
The
from this,
burn!
he does.
Radiance paying off! Yes!
Do I have to take back everything I said about Radiant's Naga being bad now?
Yep. I mean, that kill wouldn't have happened
I'm not
without
gonna.
it. Oh.
I'm not gonna.
Venomancer dies as well because he was too greedy, because he tried to farm Power Rangers Ancients. Yeah, that Blink Dagger up on the Vengeful Spirit is pretty ballsy though. I really like it. It's so powerful. With that swap, almost level 3 swap as well, perhaps he can still get Cheshire Cat. But no, Cheshire
He could
gets
have
himself
then.
out. Yeah,
There was no reason not to blink for, not to force staff forward. Then it was off cooldown.
I guess
I'm a
the
little bit
reason would have
confused
been
there.
that he was scared because he didn't see everybody. He does have the... Oh, they only just placed that one.
Yeah, but he's a Russian player. You don't expect him to think about
No
that. You expect him
excuses.
to blink forward
Blink
and fight
first,
like a
think
man.
later.
Exactly.
Nope. Well, Moon sitting on 2100 gold. I think one of the things that is going to be very important in the next couple of fights is buyback, which is up for a lot of people here. And I'm actually thinking that by the time that a fight happens, it will be up on all important people, apart from perhaps some supports, including not up on the Naga Siren, because she just bought out, got herself boots of travel. And of course the Venomancer and the Vengeful Spirit don't have it either, because Vengeful just bought a Blink Dagger and Venomancer just picked up his Veil of Discord.
Yeah, it's going to be relatively important because Poseidon, if they do lose a lot of heroes, then PR can push ridiculously fast with the Clinks, who's this farmed, because he just does a ton of damage to towers. The issue is, I still don't see them killing more than, I don't know, the supports on the side of Poseidon. I actually don't think they can kill the Bristleback at all. I don't think they can kill Solo at all. I really don't think they'll probably kill Tame My Wild even. And he's not even got that much HP. His base HP is still just 2k.
Yeah, as we've got Moon being chased out by some Necronomicons. It was Alchemist that blinked himself into trees though, so he is actually, yeah, he kind of made that happen himself, so couldn't go in. You're right though, I mean, even though this Lynx is pretty farmed and towers will drop fast if they actually win a fight, how are they going to win a fight if they can't even take down...
Oh, Moon's going to be caught out here, but he's going to have to pop his BKB and try and run away. He is going to make his way out. Nice move by Moon, very good reactions. Yeah, and yeah, he did know that as well, so nice reactions from him.
Oh, Crystal Maiden swapped in J4, you're dead. Killing spree.
Luckily she does have buyback though, and she's got her freezing field up, as well as her BKB, which is on 9 seconds, so it's going to be essential. She's going to buy back now.
Yeah, Poison Nova is still there, but I mean, they just caught Illidan. They hexed him up, they ensnared him, but they were still not able to do the damage. Moon not being there in time. He is the damage source, so he needs to be there. Another ensnare coming out on Illidan, but again, not enough damage. Moon gets stunned up, doesn't have a BKB just yet. For another 30 seconds, the tower drops. Illidan still very low, but you know, he has an Aegis, even that. Oh, that was a Poison Nova. Was rather a Viper Strike. Illidan doesn't even use his Aegis, sitting on 100 HP. It doesn't matter for him. Ranks drop, they just can't do anything at this point.
Yeah, they had to try and kill off Illidan then, and then try and reinitiate the fight. Maybe if they killed off Illidan, then what they could do is initiate using the Naga Siren ulti, walk everybody in, pop off all the BKBs, and just try. But even then, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Oh. Tame My Wild could have stunned up the real one, but chose an illusion instead. On the unstable concoction.
Maybe
by the way,
he's just merciful.
Yeah. They have a gem on the Viper as well. They have got the cheese still on the Alchemist, and they've got one lane of Rex down. And why would they back off? Look at their health. They have no fear here. They can just try the same thing again. They still have their Aegis. They're just gonna move high ground. The Hex is there, the Frostbite as well. In comes the swap though from Jotam. He's taking a lot of damage still, and in comes the Song. Can they go in on this one? They don't have Cheshire Cat because he is fighting with Tame My Wild. He has to back off, teleports to his base right now. Moon goes for solo, can't fight him, goes for Illidan at this point, but Illidan still has an Aegis, even if he drops, which he does. He'll just have his Aegis bird. At least they get the Viper, who drops the gem as he goes. Vengeful Spirit goes down as well. Alchemist ending up stunning himself from the long walk from the top lane to the bottom one, and they don't get the tier 3 tower here. It is actually Power Rangers that force them out. They used to buy back on the Tinker, used to buy back on the Crystal Main for the entire duration of the fight. Of course, both used during the mid lane engagement. But they hold their fort, they hold their ground.
Yeah, they do manage to hold the base. Apparently I lied. It is actually possible to kill one of the heroes on the side of Poseidon. Well, two of the heroes on Poseidon. Side of Poseidon. It's possible to kill Venge as well as Viper. You just need everything you have to do it. And them to be inside your base next to a tower for 5 minutes.
Yes, that happened.
And to buy back multiple times.
I guess, I mean, they killed off the Venge because he was a bit too trigger happy. I think that Poseidon, if they went for a slow siege, they would have had that, but with Vengeful Spirit just jumping in and just forcing out his...
Oh, top lane FNG.
Oh,
poor guy.
Yep. I like how Tame My Wild actually waited.
He's giving away a gem too. It was originally their gem, but...
Yeah. I like how Tame My Wild waited with the stun until, you know, he knew that he had the time to still throw out the stun and just, you know, increase his duration a little bit. But they get indeed the gem back, which is pretty important. They kill off the Naga Siren, who tried to split push out, which is also very important because that's actually the thing that she can still do with her illusions. But nonetheless, they gain their ground again. I think they're just going to group up and go again. ZXC might actually die from this. Tries to TP himself out. Will there be something to stop it? No, they still don't have hexes. That's the thing that I missed on the side of Poseidon. A hex.
Yeah, I think they're going for sort of basically a more sort of brutal lineup here, where they're not going for those sort of outplaying items. They're not going for that utility. They're just, oh dear.
They were waiting for that to happen. It was just, that was just bait. Tamar Wild, invisible, the smoke was up.
Cheshire Cat might be the next one to go down here. Tamar Wild's actually going to hold the stun because he knows Cheshire Cat has the teleport here. And he is going to get out of there safely.
Yeah, Tamar Wild, same story. In the meantime, bottom lane, Illidan is already bashing on a tier 3. He gets ensnared, but next to the tier 3, so he gets it still. Cheshire Cat, he gets a Viper Strike on his face, turns on his Blade Mail, still has to run though, still has to go back to base. Solo uses mech, they go in on Moon, but in comes the Song, holding everybody at bay, but I'm not sure if they can take this fight. They're gonna try, they have to try, they go for FNG first, and that's not gonna happen. Poison Nova comes out, Freezing Field comes out from the Crystal Maiden, but she drops, Moon drops, only Cheshire Cat left alive. And that's not going to be enough. The GG gets called. Poseidon, they take their game and they take it home in style. Well, in a bit of a poisonish style, I have to say.
There's been a lot of poison today.
Yes, there has.
It's been a theme.
It has been a theme. They get the kill though, or at least the game. I mean, good on them. I have to say I'm slightly disappointed with the way the game went. I mean, I hyped this up a bit. And
yeah.
It was a nice game, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, it was a good game, but PR shouldn't have gone with a lineup that doesn't really suit them. They picked up Tinker, which is a split push hero. They go back for a late Radiance. Frankly though, I still think we should have seen Clinks pick up a Rapier when he had the money to. Things were already bad. They didn't have a way of actually killing people on the side of Poseidon. Sometimes you just have to say screw it.
Yeah, we are gonna see OSG again, by the way, for the second time today. 4FC versus OSG. We're slightly behind starting time, so we will be having the game very shortly, so stick around. We'll be right back with another game for StarLadder Season 8 Day 2.